And we're still seeing some lower air quality out there. I'll talk about when it will finally get better coming up.
This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Breiter. First at noon, the couple accused of poisoning women in Rock and Dane counties returns to court today. Ellie Liberté is live with the latest on the investigation ahead of their appearances. Ellie?
Hey, Josh, I'm outside the Dane County Courthouse where in just an hour we're expecting Whitaker and Van Dyne to enter an either guilty or not guilty plea. Now, according to court records, the pair stalked and tried multiple times to kill women that Van Dyne had previously been on dates with. According to a criminal complaint, the two broke into those women's cars and allegedly put cyanide and thallium in water bottles and hydrogen sulfide and Abrin in car air vents. A Rock County victim says the poison put her in the hospital for 38 days. Now in Dane County, Van Dyne is facing 1 count of conspiracy to commit first-degree intentional homicide and 1 count of stalking and 1 count of harboring and aiding a felon. The pair are facing additional charges in Rock County. Now, Van Dyne pleaded not guilty in Rock County just last week. His bond there is set to $37.5 million. It's set at $10 million in Dane County. And just yesterday, Whitaker's bond was set at $15 million in Rock County. It's set at $4 million in Dane County. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online as we learn more from the courtroom today, so stay with us. But for now, reporting live outside the Dane County Courthouse, Ellie Liberté, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. Also happening today, the man charged with the murder at the Harmony Apartments in Madison will be in court for a jury status hearing. Devontae Gafford is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and possession of a firearm as a convicted felon. This will be the second trial on the homicide charge after a mistrial last year. Prosecutors say Gafford shot and killed Devon Grant in 2023 at the Harmony Apartments, which has a troubled history of violence. Police found more than 60 shell casings after 2 groups exchanged gunfire. The controversy over fluoride will once again take center stage in DeForest. Tonight, the village board will vote to call a recall election for the trustee who pushed to remove fluoride from the drinking water. Bill Landgraf led the charge when the village board passed the resolution. He's accused of intimidating and acting disrespectfully toward village residents who disagree with him. He has denied these allegations. A group seeking to kick him off the board gathered more than enough valid signatures to trigger a recall. If the village board approves tonight, the recall election will happen on September 16th. Tonight's meeting is scheduled to start at 6. Well, to weather now, where the smoky conditions are slowly coming to an end. Let's check now with the first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh, still not seeing perfect air quality out there, but it is a little bit better, at least for some of the areas compared to the last couple of days. Moderate for Madison and areas to the south and west, still at the unhealthy for some level for Milwaukee and parts of our eastern area. And as we take a look at the current air quality across the state, it is a little bit worse as you go further northeast, where parts of northern Wisconsin in that unhealthy range. Now, the current air quality alerts are only for some of the area. It actually just expired for Madison and areas to the west at noon, but we are still going to see those air quality alerts continue for areas to the east until noon tomorrow. And it looks like it will expire tomorrow at noon because the wildfire smoke is expected to get a lot better over the next couple of days. So a lot of that wildfire smoke still kind of hugging the eastern portion of Wisconsin. It's still going to be a little present across the area for Wednesday, but once we get to Wednesday night, it really looks like it will clear up. Might see some additional smoke move in Thursday, but once we get towards the end of the week, we're going to see some strong southerly winds, which will really kick that wildfire smoke out of the area. And I'll talk about that a bit later. First, as we look at those temperatures, they are a little bit warmer compared to the last couple of days, but certainly not too warm. Upper 70s to lower 80s right now. And throughout the day, we're going to continue to see that temperature forecast with plenty of sunshine and highs in the lower 80s. But I'll talk more in detail about that wildfire smoke and show you the forecast for the rest of the week coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you then. Thank you. Well, back here at home, our Stuff the Bus campaign is underway in partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County. We're helping local students start the school year ready to succeed. Until the 15th, we're collecting essential school supplies to support thousands of kids across Dane County. You can help by dropping off donations at our drop-off sites. You can find all of that information on channel3000.com. And a heads up for parents in the Madison School District, online enrollment opens tomorrow. Every family has to do so on the online enrollment platform. If your student is already enrolled, you should verify or update information by completing the online enrollment application. You do not need to create a new account. If you're new to the district, you'll be guided through the entire process in the platform. Enrollment staff are available to help by phone or in person. Today, SSM Health is teaming up with the Madison Police Department for National Night Out. The annual community building campaign serves to nurture relationships between community partners, neighborhoods, and law enforcement. Free events across the city will feature fun, food, and the chance to learn more about local policing. Folks are encouraged to ask questions and share their concerns.
I think community ties into health, and a healthy community is healthy people. And with healthy people, it brings a better community, and it just all ties in and feeds off each other.
Night out events will be held from 4 to 7 across the city tonight. At Penn Park, there will be resources and family activities. SSM Health South Campus will host a back-to-school backpack giveaway and block party. And Westmoreland Park will host a picnic with a free taco and nacho bar. If you can't make it today, more events run throughout the week. Well, coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, why President Trump is praising American Eagle Outfitters, plus brace for price increases. What a new poll from the Associated Press says many Americans are stressing out on.
One Federal Reserve official tells CBS News shoppers should brace for price increases, with businesses expected to pass on the cost of the Trump administration's tariffs. Companies like Procter & Gamble have already announced price hikes due to tariffs. A new poll from the Associated Press and the NORC Center for Public Affairs Research found that 53% of Americans say grocery prices are a major source of stress right now. President Trump is praising American Eagle Outfitters' controversial jeans commercial featuring actress Sydney Sweeney. On social media Monday, the president said it's the, quote, hottest ad out there. The company's stock jumped more than 23% afterwards. And Tesla says it will grant CEO Elon Musk $29 billion worth of shares. It comes 6 months after a judge revoked the company's $56 billion compensation package for Musk, which Tesla approved back in 2018. According to a regulatory filing, the $29 billion award would be forfeited and returned if the 2018 pay package is reinstated. Tesla shares have dipped 25% this year as the EV maker faces blowback from Musk's affiliation with President Trump. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow is up 7 points, NASDAQ down 99, and the S&P 500 down 23. Our call for action volunteers are in the building, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. We'll have today's farm numbers straight ahead, along with the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, what parents should know about sending their kids back to school now that the measles is in Wisconsin. Pam Yankee is still out of the radio barn on her Canadian Rockies farm tour, so here are your farm numbers. Back to that story we were trying to follow earlier. Texas Democrats who fled the state to block attempts to vote on a congressional redistricting plan say they will stay away until the end of the legislature's special session. This is despite threats of arrest. As Natalie Brand reports, the standoff is also triggering a response from the Democratic states.
Texas Democrats say they're standing their ground.
There's folks saying that we walked out. And I think everyone behind me will say we're standing up. And as Texans would say, we're standing tall.
Appearing this morning alongside the Democratic National Committee chair and the governor of Illinois.
Texas Republicans are trying to diminish the voting power of their own constituents, and in doing so, diminish the rights of Illinoisans and all Americans.
Back in Texas, State House GOP leaders issued civil arrest warrants for the more than 50 Democratic lawmakers who left to block a vote on newly proposed congressional districts.
There will be consequences.
Texas Republican legislators drew the new maps after President Trump said he wanted to increase the GOP's chances of picking up more seats in the state.
I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
The Texas showdown has national implications ahead of next year's midterms. And now some Democratic governors across the country say they'll do what they have to fight back. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he's considering a special election in the fall to move forward with redrawn maps to boost Democrats' chances there.
They've triggered this response, and we're not going to roll over. And we're going to fight fire with fire.
Texas Democrats say part of their goal is to pressure blue states to take action as more Republican-led states consider the same. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, the air quality is starting to get better, but hot and humid conditions are also moving in this week. Here's meteorologist Jacob Montesano with the forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, if you look at the 3 things you need to know, not going to be as hazy by week's end, but we are going to see some hot temperatures, possibly seeing highs back near 90, if not in the lower 90s. And as far as rain chances go, only a few small chances of rain. For the most part, we're going to be fairly dry for the rest of the week. Now, again, looking at the current smoke forecast, or really the current smoke right now, you can see it's a lot thicker in the eastern portion of Wisconsin. Madison and areas to the west not seeing quite as much smoke. And although we are going to see some light smoke for Wednesday, it is going to be a lot better. And then Wednesday night, it may be completely clear before we do see a little bit more smoke kind of trickle its way back into the region for Thursday. But let's take a look at the conditions that will lead to clear skies and little smoke for the end of the week. It's going to be in terms of the winds. The winds the next couple of days is going to be very calm. So although it will get better, it's still going to be persistent. Now, once we get to Thursday, we'll start to see some southerly winds pick up, and then they're really going to pick up once we get to Friday and Saturday. And notice they're going to be out of the south, which will likely push that wildfire smoke north of our area. And we're going to continue to see these southerly winds throughout the weekend. Make it pretty gusty at times as well. Could see those gusts up to around 40 miles per hour. But the bigger story is the fact that it will really help push that smoke out of our region. It also will help boost those temperatures. Now, for the next couple of days, it's still not going to be too warm. Today, we're talking about highs in the middle to lower 80s. Definitely a little bit warmer than the last couple of days. A lot of that has to do with the fact that the smoke is not covering our area, which is going to allow temperatures to warm up a bit more. And then for tomorrow, very similar to conditions to today. But once we get to Thursday, that's where we're going to see the winds, as I mentioned, pick up, and that will help warm the temperatures up, as highs will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s. Looks like we're not going to see temperatures get quite as warm as those alert days we had earlier in July, but we're still going to see warmer temperatures, especially compared to the last couple of days, which have been a little bit below normal. And then for next week, we're talking about highs in the middle 80s to start the week, maybe back in the lower 80s by week's end. Now, looking at the rainfall forecast, we're really not going to see much. We could see some very isolated showers today, but for the most part, everyone should be dry with plenty of sunshine. A little bit more cloud cover for Wednesday, but we're still expecting a lot of sunshine and little to no rainfall. Rain chances will increase ever so slightly for Thursday, but we're still not expected to see much. Thursday night does look like the best chance of rain for the rest of this week, because after Thursday night, we're going to dry up again for week's end as those temperatures warm up. But again, Thursday night could see a few showers and thunderstorms, especially for areas south of Madison. But looking overall at the rain chances, it's not really until we get to Sunday where we are going to see a little bit of a better chance of rainfall. Until then, can't completely rule out some isolated showers and storms, but for the most most part, we are not going to see much. Now, as I mentioned, warmer temperatures with the dry conditions will equal some heat index values getting into the lower 90s, but I think many people will take the 90s considering we're likely going to see very little smoke across the area once we get to week's end. You know, Josh, it feels like whenever something good happens, there's always a negative to it. Like the last couple of days, the temperatures and conditions have been great, except we've had that wildfire smoke, which has lowered the air quality. And now the air quality is going to improve, but then it's going to warm up. So eventually we may start to see some consistently nice days with no blemishes in the forecast. But for now, once the air quality clears up, it is going to warm up.
Yeah, I feel like it's been the story of the summer.
Right.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Well, today Howard is clearing the confusion on which pork ribs to buy at the market.
Every summer, we get all sorts of questions from you asking if we can explain the difference between all the different types of pork ribs that we see in the market. So to help clarify this, let me show you some of the most popular ones. These are baby back ribs. They're called baby back not because they come from baby pigs, but because they're the shortest of all ribs. They're also easy to recognize by their curved bones. They're the sweetest and the most tender and leanest of all ribs. Over here are spare ribs. As you can see, they're larger and the bone is much straighter and flatter. They have a higher bone to meat ratio and the meat is much more marbled, which gives them lots of flavor. Next is what is known as St. Louis or Kansas City ribs. They're simply spare ribs where what is called the flap and the tip are removed, making the slab rectangular. And to get us started, we have a recipe that I know you'll love. They're simply baby back ribs that are slow roasted with a Texas-style rub. And when they're fork tender, you slather them with barbecue sauce. So if you like ribs that are so tender, they practically fall off the bone, you're gonna wanna go online and get the recipe for our Texas two-step ribs. And while you're there, make sure you check out our entire collection of rib recipes. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a super tender way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
After the break, Angie Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin returns with a new recipe to try out this summer. Welcome back. Angie Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is back with us today. Hi, Angie.
Hi.
All right, we're keeping the taste of summer going.
Yeah, happy August, right?
I know.
We're talking about fun, sun, and Wisconsin cheese.
Love it.
A great recipe for your outdoor patio. Get your grill out. It's a grilled mango salad with fresh burrata. I'm very excited about it. It's fresh. It's colorful. Burrata is a very great cheese in Wisconsin. It's like a fresh mozzarella ball, but then if you look on the inside of it, it's a fresh mozzarella and a heavy cream. It's just so creamy, milky, delicate. I can't wait for you to try it.
Smells good, looks good,
Yeah.
all the above.
So this is actually very simple to make, and it has lots of fresh ingredients. You know, it's a time for farmers markets. People are having fresh produce. There's basil, there's tomatoes, all these fun things. So on this end, we have 2 mangoes, and you're actually going to peel those and slice those, and you're going to put those on your grill with a little bit of butter and maple syrup to get
Yum.
a nice sweet mango. Then we have some fresh tomatoes. We have some heirloom tomatoes and also some of the cherry-sized tomatoes. There's a red onion, some prosciutto to give you a little protein as well. And then there's a homemade chili vinaigrette that has, of course, vinegar, olive oil, there's garlic, and there's some peppers. And you're gonna just drizzle that on top of this beautiful platter of burrata and fresh vegetables. So it gives it a lot of nice flavor, a little bit of sweetness, but you can also taste that pepper in there as well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you to try that. And then, of course, you can serve that on a nice toasted baguette. You can actually make a meal of it yourself with the prosciutto, the cheese, the bread, maybe a glass of wine.
Why
maybe a
not?
beer. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
So Belgioso is a very popular company that we have in Wisconsin. They actually have 7 Wisconsin master cheesemakers. They're up in the Green Bay area. They're known for specialty Italian varieties of cheese. You notice on the package they have that proudly Wisconsin
Gotta look
seal.
for that.
And they're known for the fresh products. So like the burrata, for example, is made from the fresh milk from the farms, all within a 30-mile radius. So you know it's fresh, you know it's Wisconsin, and it's such a great way to support our Wisconsin dairy farmers.
Certainly is. Where can folks get this recipe?
You can find it online at wisconsincheese.com. This is also our online magazine, Great Pear Share. There's lots of summer ideas, summer inspiration,
Perfect.
pairing ideas. And you can find the burrata at almost all of your local grocery stores, so very easy to find.
Awesome. Angie, as
Yes,
always,
thank
thanks so
you.
much. much. And thanks for watching News 3 Now at noon. Coming up next is The Bold and the Beautiful. We're back with more news live at 4, and you can always find us on channel3000.com.